Hello and welcome to another video by myself, Chris, from Sorare on the Budget. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Sorare's threshold announcement, which has just come out a few moments ago. It's going to be quite a change to the game, mostly positive. I've got a couple of wee notes on it here, so I thought I would run through that. Going to discuss obviously the announcement itself, the new threshold levels, what my thoughts on them are, some channel plans, because as you followed us on Twitter, you would have seen that I have got some new plans for the channel. I'm going to get it back active again, basically. So if you are new to the channel, click the subscribe button below. That's quite important. It'll help grow the channel. And if you're new to Sorare and you're seeing this video for the first time and you're thinking, okay, this looks like something I can actually get involved in now, SorareOnTheBudget.com, that'll take you to the Sorare website where you can sign up. You'll get your 10 free common cards, and then when you buy 5 cards from the auctions, you will get a free limited card. So, without further ado, I'm going to go into my notes that I've got. Sorare had announced a couple of days ago they were going to be releasing their plans for 2023, and they have done so. And it's very good. There was a lot of speculation the last couple of days as to whether they would be looking at, the full removal of the thresholds, which I never thought would be the case. It's kind of what the platform was built upon. So it is very important to be there, and it's even more so in terms of progression. So there was a lot of thoughts and wonderment about it. So I did think they would possibly, implement maybe a higher level to required to achieve the thresholds, or that they may do away with certain competitions like Underdog, and that's actually what they've done. So without further ado, I'll kind of go through what the announcement basically stated. So starting on the 30th of January next year, so about 8 weeks or so, Sorare are now going to spread the thresholds across all scarcities except for common. So now your limited cards can be used to gain a threshold payment, as will the rare, super rare, and unique. I've got this listed on the screen here. Now, it's going to be through a new capped mode, which is going to be similar to the way that the NBA competitions were launched. And at the time, myself and Russ on our podcast, A View from the Dugouts, the thought we had was we would like to see that implemented within within the football aspect, because it's very much a leveler. Your total cards can only come to a maximum of 240 points for the last 15. So that brings it down to an average of 48 across those. So they've implemented that as of the 30th of January. So you've still got plenty of time between now and then to skim the lower thresholds and things like that to help build your team moving forward. So they have done it across all of the levels. Now, the way that the game mode is going to work is 240 point budget. So this is like traditional fantasy football almost, where you have a salary cap or a transfer budget, so to speak, where you've got to buy your team within that price range. So you've got a 240 point gap, for 240 point balance to use. Now, that's going to be based on the last 15, as I say. So you might get lucky when you see a player coming back from long-term injury. You can maybe sneak him in for one game, but if he scores quite high, that's going to affect his last 15 and such like. So you're really going to have to do quite a bit of scouting. This kind of reminds me of when the Specialist League first came in, and I was quite excited about that because it was one that you had to do a lot of scouting. So it's kind of right up my street. It's what I enjoy doing, is, wheeling and dealing, finding the players and such like. So the one thing that popped out straight away to me, though, was there's going to be no captain and no card bonuses. So that actually, where you're looking at buying the cards that have got maybe 8% or 9% on them to be able to use them, that's not going to count worth a jot when it comes to this particular game mode. So if it actually creates a little bit more value to the, even the 0% ones. I'm sure Pavel Trader is probably rubbing his hands at that one, because the 0% ones, a lot of the time, you kind of swerve them unless you're going to be using specifically for a mode like this. So that is definitely one that has caught my attention there right away. Now, I'm just going back to my phone because I've got the announcement on there. There's no mixing of the scarcities across the limited, rare, super rare, capped modes. They are allowing one super rare in the unique. So if you're playing at that end of the game, You can sneak one super rare in amongst your uniques to get that. Now, by doing that, they've basically created a pathway for progression, what they're saying, and I agree with that. They are given a pathway to progression because you could start to, accumulate. If you're starting on the limiteds and you're building a team now, the goalkeepers haven't had a look at them in the last week or so because there is going to be a limited video coming up soon. Probably even more so prevalent now with the limited thresholds there as well. So you can buy goalkeepers, especially I could take one off the top of my head, Trevor Carson, St Mirren goalkeeper, clear number one. Now, his card is sitting around kind of 15 quid. So in essence, you could probably build a team probably less than 35, 40 quid and put it into this. Now, the $5 is about, I think it's about 4 quid. Now, that when you look at what you're getting back for the rare, what market and things like that, that's obviously a much smaller level. However, you could then start to accumulate those up and then maybe build another team to put into Challenger Europe or Champion Europe or Asia or America. It gives you an option to actually build your gallery rather than getting a reward. We've seen it, we've all done it, we've all seen it where you're getting to a decent score and you think you're going to get a decent reward, and then it comes out and it's worth like 70 pence, the card that you're going to get. So actually getting a fixed level that and this is where Russ and I have both said this, I've said it since I started doing my videos, I look at this type of a game mode as a competition against yourself. Now, it's basically you've got to pick the cards that are going to achieve 250 points. So to me, that is a competition against me. So it doesn't matter what galleries I'm playing against. It's me against the 5 players that I've picked. They're my team. They're the ones that I'm sending out. And if they can achieve the 250 points, bang, I've won my reward. Simple as that. There are still also going to be card rewards within this game mode as well. So not only, are you looking at that aspect where you're going to be playing against yourself to get the thresholds, you've then got the opportunity to win cards. So if your cards do well, bang, you're going to be an opportunity to actually win cards back there as well. So in my opinion, that should realistically stimulate the market a little bit. Some of the cards that have got the lower scores on them, it's not like Underdog, that in essence, that should have been what happened with Underdog, but it kind of did and it didn't. However, with this now, if you're wanting to play for a threshold, you have to buy some of these lower end cards. So it works out as a 48 point average. I've had a look at it. I could put my team comfortably that I was going to be putting in threshold. I could put my team comfortably into the capped mode, and it's no problem. I don't even have to really make any adjustments. Those without a goalkeeper, who are scraping the lower thresholds, you're going to have to do a wee bit of planning and digging around. Obviously, not getting the percentage bonuses and having no captain bonus, in essence, is meaning they are really having to score, a lot more points from your players than you would have done. If, say, for instance, your players scored a combined amount of 200 points before all the bonuses go on, add your captain bonus on, add your 4s, your 5s, your 6% onto each of those players, suddenly you're on 215, 220 points. So that's going to be a wee bit more difficult. You are probably realistically going to have to either buy 4 really good outfield players and use those, or you're going to need a goalkeeper. That's the top and bottom of it, as far as I could see. You are going to need to get a goalkeeper in amongst your team, whichever level you're playing on there. So that might be a bit of a hindrance for those in rare, for example. But when you look at getting $50 back, so about 40 quid back every game week, you could accumulate that quite quickly and then repay what you've paid for your goalkeeper. So I think it will see a difference into those kind of things. The cons for it, in my opinion, were the removal of the lower thresholds from the rare was one that kind of jumped out because now it creates an all or nothing scenario, which it does with all the other leagues. So you are reliant on not having a DNP. So again, as I say, that's going to come back to a lot of research, looking at the markets, looking at leagues, looking at forum, everything like that. So you're probably not going to be able to just sit with your same 5 cards and bang them in every week because you have to, be on top of your team. And I've said that all along. You should really know all your players. You should know where, your situation with, Marco Hara is now the captain at St Mirren. He's a player that I know, and I'm quite confident about putting him in the lineup. But if I see that he's on 4 yellow cards and maybe a yellow card away from suspension, I need to start being more, aware of potential suspensions, things like that. So it will, in my opinion, create that dynamic. So whilst it's a negative, they've taken away the lower threshold. You've got to understand they couldn't do both. They couldn't spread the threshold across everything and remain paying out for hitting 205. It's just not feasible, really, when you look at the long-term sustainability of the platform. But I think this should help, those guys that have come in for the World Cup and can now look at it and go, hey, actually, if I spend $50 or 40 quid and build up a team, I could realistically get about 10% of that back each week. And if I don't hit it every week, if I'm hitting it 2 out of 3, it's going to recoup my money quite quickly. So I do think that that's quite a positive. The one that I've kind of just, the underdog and specialist, I know that this is kind of basically replacing them, and they're going to remove them from the 30th of January as well. I'm a wee bit sad to see that go. I do like specialist limiteds, but it depends on what how this all works out. It could well be that this is going to be an ideal replacement. You're not going to have to look specifically for under 40s, for example. So it can help you create a better team overall that should be, able to achieve that bonus a little bit easier. But the one note of that I've got written down here is that it should create a level playing field. You can't be up against, Kimmich, Mbappe, Messi, and everything like that, because if somebody puts in one of those cards, it's going to take up about the better part of a third of your capped amount in one go. So you are going to have to get creative. You are going to have to do some research. So I think it's a very big positive, and I'm excited to see where it goes, to be perfectly honest. That's not being a shill. If you follow my Twitter, I've been very vocal about quite a lot of things recently. However, I think this is a positive, and I'm looking forward to, the end of January, going forward into February, and where it all goes, really. So with that, little update on the channel plans. I have a video set to go. I'm going to have to revoice it probably because I had set up a threshold player video that I'd put together all the research for. Slides are all done, ready to go, and then I come home and I see the announcement from Sorare, and I was like, balls, I have to, hang on and probably wait before I can put that up. So that'll be going up later tonight, which is Thursday the 8th. So that'll be at some point in the next couple of hours that'll go up, and it'll allow you to get an opportunity to get a head start on building the team that could help you get to that threshold. Also, I'm going to be looking at doing a little bit more around the limiteds. That was something that Ian, Russ and I's favourite St Johnstone fan, had suggested as a possibility. We can basically look at doing some threshold limiteds now, or just basically showing people that you can actually build a decent team for not a lot of money. We all speak to our friends about the platform. We'll tell them, we've got this, we've got that, and we're doing this and doing that. And then when you say to them, they're interested in getting started, and they say, how much will I need to start? And you say, if you want to do what I'm doing, you're probably going to need 200, 300, 400 quid. It's coming up to Christmas. We're in a cost of living crisis. Bills are through the roof for everybody. It's really, really hard to justify starting out, and spending that amount of money on digital collector cards and explaining it to the missus, or the mister, whatever it may be. If it's a female starting or it's a guy starting, whoever it is, you've got to just be able to justify that. And a lot of people are living hand to mouth at the moment. So I think being able to show people that, what, you can build a team for a decent amount, and not breaking the bank. So I think that'll be quite exciting to do some more around the limited cards. I'm also going to do a little bit more kind of reactionary videos. If there's announcements or things are going on, just come on and chat about it. I think that's quite a good thing. I might try and see if I can get some live stream ones. That's purely dependent on what's going on with the baby. She turns 5 months tomorrow, and it does time consume. I'm getting on just now because the missus is away out with her. So I've set aside time 3 nights a week to do videos. So I'm planning on trying to get 3 videos a week out. And as I mentioned, also Russ and I have got the podcast, which is at AVFTD Pod on Twitter. Follow that, listen to the podcast. We give our honest opinions on it, and it's not always popular, but it's our honest opinion. So that's on there. As I said, subscribe to the channel, get the notifications when new videos go up. I'm not expecting great numbers for the videos over the first few videos because I haven't done any for months. It turns out, having a baby, I was 24 when my son was born, 23 going on 24 when my son was born. And now I'm 41. It's a lot of time that gets consumed from from having to look after a baby. It's not easy. So I will get back on these videos. That is the plan of action. And thank you to everybody that subscribed. Thank you to everybody that follows me on Twitter. You can do so at Sorare on the Budget if you've not done so already. If you have any ideas for videos you'd like to see or things you'd like me to discuss or talk about on the videos, drop me a wee DM on Twitter. I'm happy to discuss that with anybody. I prefer constructive feedback, but hey ho, let's roll. As I said, if you're new to Sorare, you can sign up at Sorare, www.sorareonabudget.com, and that will take you to Sorare's website. Get your sign up, as I said at the start of the video. So without further ado, guys, thank you very much. I will go and start recording the Threshold Players video. Thank you very much. I'm excited moving forward, and let's see where Sorare takes us. Thanks very much, guys.